First off, I just want to say thank you for all the support on my Wire video. Out of all the videos I made during spooky season, I didn't expect that one to gain the most traction. But as promised, it got to 10K very quickly, and I got a good one for y'all. Stringer Bell might be the greatest fraud in the Wire. If you're new to the channel, I occasionally make fraud videos for certain characters from shows. I mostly do it with anime, so this is my first time doing it with an actual TV show. Stringer Bell is honestly a top 5 character on the Wire. The man dropped nothing but bars and legendary moments. But what makes the Wire so great was how easily they were able to masquerade all of Stringer's fraudulent moments. It's missable on your first watch of the show, but through multiple rewatches, you'll catch them every time. Stringer Bell is the right-hand man, or should I say, the queen, for Avon Barksdale, aka the king. He was the face of the Barksdale organization, while Avon will lay in the shadows like a king is supposed to. But Stringer Bell wanted to be something in a city that wasn't built for his mentality. Stringer wanted to be a businessman and not in the streets. He wanted to be like Ghost, but ended up looking like Tariq. When we were first introduced to Stringer Bell, this man was in the courtroom pressing the witnesses and drawing pictures for McNulty, looking like a straight up boss. But remember what I told you, the Wire is able to masquerade people's flaws. Stringer's fraud meter started going off once D'Angelo Barksdale came into the picture. Now D was a potential heir to the throne if Avon was to ever go to jail or end up in a vacant. But you see, D'Angelo was somewhat of a screw up. Not in terms of selling drugs to an undercover cop like a certain club owner, but just always making some kind of mistake that could come back and hurt those around him. After D'Angelo shot someone in front of a security guard and maintenance man, things started to take a turn. Stringer never liked D'Angelo because the minute he beat that case, bro started walking him down every time they were on screen together. Pulled up to the crib and straight up side-eyeing D because he knew that if any other nigga did what he did, they would have had to eat that charge or link up with Chris and Snoop. But since he's family, Avon let it slide. When D came back to the towers bright and early, looking fresh to death, guess who was there waiting for him? Stringer f***ing Bell. This is the equivalent of going to school and all of a sudden your parents are there waiting for you. Bro had his clothes laid out overnight to put up a front, but this man Stringer had the same idea as well. This man Stringer pulled up with his best fit. Nigga had the quarter zip on, fresh cut with the waves growing, black Air Forces. Nigga aura just embodies, yeah nigga, give me a reason to steal your girl from you. Told this man D'Angelo that he was getting a big promotion after shooting that guy. Told that man straight up that he's going from the towers to the pit. This man got demoted from regional manager to assistant to the assistant regional manager. The minute D started arguing, this man hit him with the Franklin Saint head tilt and said, "Nigga, who you think greenlit this decision?" and proceeds to walk off with the meanest look back in history. Looking like Bill Cosby when he was on trial. See, what I hate about that Stringer Bell walk is the fact that he only did it with D'Angelo. This man hated D'Angelo so much that he invented a walk just to look back at his #1 hater.
I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
So later on, D drops off the cash and Stringer proceeds to drop one of the greatest lines in history that will later on end up being irrelevant, but we'll get to that later. So Stringer confronts D about the possibility of a snitch in the pit, but really Omar just built different. What Stringer proceeds to tell him was honestly one of the smartest dumb things to ever be said. He tells D not to pay his workers until they tighten up, and Stringer was right on that part because this is the game and you can't be effing up on any aspects of it without there being some kind of repercussions. But the second part was where he lost me. This nigga told D to keep an eye on the workers that's not asking him for an advance. Which was stupid to me because if the person in question just knows how to manage their money better than others, I know they in the PJs, but not every single person just wants to blow their money on shoes and clothes. If D'Angelo had actually listened to Stringer, they would have clapped a random nigga for no reason. But the most disrespectful part about that scene was how he was pressing D'Angelo's chest. This nigga was using all of his strength to make sure D had a dent in his clothes and in his chest. Nigga was pressing him so hard you would have thought he had a mic on with how loud it was. After Stringer and them took out Omar's lover, things start to take a turn for the Barksdale organization. Bodies getting dropped, soldiers getting locked up, cops harassing them 24/7. which is a normal thing in the game, but once Kima got lit up, shit went sideways and Stringer's true intentions started showing. But before we get to that, there's one key moment that needs to be brought up. Stringer gets tailed by McNulty and inevitably ends up at Baltimore Community College, and we find out that Stringer is taking business classes on the side while being number 2 in the Barksdale organization. Nah, man, this nigga really is Tariq St. Patrick, doing dirt on the side while still holding a 3.5 GPA in college. Only difference is Tariq was actually catching bodies. That nigga Tariq definitely would have clapped Clay Davis and then some. Shit. Then we find out he has a paper business as well. You know what? I'm starting to think Ghost was inspired by Stringer because there's a lot of similarities between the two. Smart, was brought up in the game, went legit, life was ruined by fine shit, was beefing with his brother, and many more. But let's get back to the paper business. This nigga was learning the ropes about the paper business before taking his talents to Dunder Mifflin. Now, what's crazy about this is the fact that he had no actual workers there. This man had corner boys working a 9 to 5. You're probably thinking this was smart to do because no questions would be asked by their parole officers and stuff. But nah, this nigga was just being cheap as hell. How you want a job to run like a true business when you don't have any real workers in that said business? I bet he probably wasn't even paying them, to be honest. They was just there to put on an act, or probably just a job for their parole officers to show that they're on a different path in life. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back to the program. After Orlando tried making a little extra money on the side to get some hair conditioner for his hair, he gets arrested by the cops and starts snitching immediately. But before he could get to talking, Weebay and Lil Man lit him up in the alley while shooting Kima in the process, which resulted in the iconic meme that everyone knows. This was the first sign of Stringer's fraudulence, because the next scene prior shows it all in 4K. Avon is crashing out because Lil Man shot a cop and how the cash got him caught up. Stringer reveals to Avon that Weebay and Savino had the idea to clap Orlando and take the money in the process. Avon knew it was dumb as hell because how the hell Orlando got 30 grand when we just beat his ass 2 episodes ago over some money? Now you see, Stringer was obsessed with money. The dumbest decisions he has made throughout the whole show has always involved money. This man would go from looking like a criminal mastermind, but the minute he hears about some money, he turns into a white girl in a scary movie. Just dumb as hell. Avon tells him to burn the money and you can see this man's soul leave his body. Bro threw that money in the trash bag aggressive as hell. Like, damn nigga, what did the bag do to you? He threw it so hard that I thought the bag was gonna bust. This man was so mad that he hit a zipper animation. Like, that's crazy, bruh. Fast forward and the Barksdale organization is about to go down. Or at least not yet. Stringer thought he was going to get arrested with Avon, but since Wallace got clapped, he was a free man. This has Stringer plotting in his head for a split second because this will give him the opportunity to put his business classes to the test. After Avon posts bail, they talk to Levy in the parking lot about the possibility of a wire being present. Avon was like, I only talked to D in the back of the club in his office, and this man Stringer closes his eyes and starts shaking his head, and I'm like, nigga, I know you not reacting. The same nigga that shot a cop over some money and had the block hot? Bruh, I think you need to sit this one out, Chief. With everything that's happened, Avon takes a 7-year bid, which results in Stringer being the new tribal chief. But we know Avon is the OTC. With Stringer Bell leading the front lines, things should be even better, right? This man should be bringing in Franklin Saint numbers. 73 mil a month, ton of real estate, basically being the undisputed GOAT of Baltimore. But for some reason in season 2, it was like his character shifted and he started moving in a grimy and dumb way. With D'Angelo serving 20 years, Avon wants to make sure he's taken care of, but D's baby mama hasn't been down there to bring his son. So Avon tells Stringer that he needs to get with D's girl, and this nigga did exactly that. This man Stringer been plotting to crack Donette since season 1. All this man needed was the green light and Avon threw him the perfect lob like D-Wade to LeBron. Pulled up to the crib and she was bumping Shaka Khan and had that early 2000s tracksuit that all the baddies had on back in the day. Then started giving this man D'Angelo's clothes. Like, damn girl, at least be nonchalant with it.
I am aware of the effect I have on women.
Both of them wasted no time and got freaky. What's crazy when you think about it is that while this man D was getting high and looking dusty as hell, this man Stringer was laying the pipe down on his baby moms.
Tragic!
I think he wouldn't have tried that with LL Cool J though. Buddy would have been butt naked on the pool table getting a different kind of 8-ball.
Hey yo!
Donette must got some good box, bro, because Stringer plotted to take D out immediately afterwards. This nigga used D'Angelo's own son to give the green light to take him out. Which is crazy when you think about it, because this man got some single mother coup and said, nah, I'm not trying to be a stepfather. I'm trying to be the father that stepped up.
Get out!
After that happened, this man Stringer started hosting business classes with the organization, putting all of his lessons to the test. He goes on about changing the name of the product because
Death grip ain't shit.
piggybacking on real life examples like WorldCom. Dope scene because he's schooling these niggas about how to adapt to the game and think more. After Stringer hires a hitman to clap D'Angelo, whose resume should be under investigation because he can quote unquote keep it clean, have no ties brought back to them. If that was the case, then this nigga wouldn't be locked up in jail right now, but that's just my opinion. With D'Angelo dead, that leaves Stringer to clap Donette's cheeks whenever he wants. This man was looking like Bishop at Raheem's funeral, just straight cold-blooded. That is until Prop Joe pulled up. Now, Prop Joe was one of the first people to finesse Stringer Bell, but he wasn't going to be the last. Prop Joe came to him about getting a new plug, seeing as they had no work in the towers and Eastside had the best product. So he went to Avon about it and he said hell no. Stringer didn't like that one bit because all he was thinking about was that money. So he goes behind Avon's back and does a side deal with Prop Joe and gives up 3 towers as payment to him.
For love of money.
Stringer heard Joe say buy for $1, sell for $2, and said nah, this nigga spitting. But Avon wasn't going for that because this man summoned Brother Muzone, the most dangerous member of the nation. Once Stringer found out he was sending in Brother, he started panicking and wanted Prop Joe to light that nigga up.
Shit.
But Prop Joe didn't want none of that because DMX said it best. New York niggas the wildest. Stringer was thinking he and Joe had time to plan things out. But you see, Brother Muzone is a different breed. That nigga was already at the towers before Avon even hung up the phone. Hasn't even been in Baltimore for 5 minutes and already put a bullet in the Method Man. After that, that's when Stringer does the smartest and dumbest things he has ever done. He tried to pit Omar up against Brother Muzone. This man had Prop Joe set up a parlay and Stringer put on his best look. Had the lights dimmed down, glasses laying down at an angle. The only thing missing was some Al Green playing in the background. But Omar probably would have liked that. This man Stringer was working Omar like I've never seen before. Using the right words, painting a perfect picture. You honestly would have thought that Stringer was a pimp with the way he was talking to Omar. After being convinced by Stringer that Brother Muzone tortured Brandon, Omar wasted no time and got the drop on Brother. Lit him up, and right when he was about to deliver the final shot, he didn't. This is where Stringer screwed up because why didn't he have a backup plan just in case something like this happened? Stringer goes to the hospital to visit Brother Muzone, and this man is walking with a calm composure. Arms behind his back, got the white Air Forces on to symbolize that he's innocent and had nothing to do with it. Brother tells this man to not worry about the incident because he was going to take care of it. Stringer heard that man use the word absolved and his eyes widened like he never heard that word before. This nigga got a house full of dictionaries, and the minute he hears the word absolved, he starts getting nervous. Arms folded, body moving side to side, bro was looking like a pawn instead of a queen. Like this, y'all mans? Stringer asks Muzone who hit him, and this man starts staring Stringer down, looking like the Dokes meme. Bro was like, I know you did it, but I just can't prove it yet. With Brother Muzone laid up in the hospital, Stringer can go back to doing his secret love affair with Prop Joe. Oh wait, it's not a love affair anymore because Avon told Stringer that he can do business with Prop Joe. Stringer visits Avon after the Muzone hit, and Avon gives Stringer an important lesson of the game. Like, this scene right here really makes you question if Stringer was really that guy or if we were just distracted because it's Idris Elba. Idris tells Avon that he asked Brother Muzone who hit him, and Avon hit him with the meanest why in my life. It was so loud that the prisoners in the J tier heard it. Stringer tries giving him a business lecture and this man cuts him off with the quickness. Avon was like, nigga, do I look like I'm in microeconomics? No, nigga, I'm getting a master's in prison psychology right now. Stringer tries giving him the signature fist bump, but Avon was taking his sweet time giving it. Stringer in his head is thinking like, oh shit, I'm making Avon look bad here. And Avon was like, yeah, I need to link up with Michael Schofield and start a prison break because this nigga Stringer gonna have me looking like a bum before I get out of here. Things are starting to get bad for the Barksdale organization now, and season 3 was the icing on the cake. Season 3 of The Wire was the beginning and the end for a lot of characters, and Stringer Bell was one of them. In season 3, the towers were destroyed, and that means the #1 prime real estate was erased from the market, leaving the Barksdale organization with an empty throne. So Stringer organizes an emergency meeting and things start looking shaky. Remember earlier when I said Stringer's quote from season 1 was cap? This scene proved it. Stringer tells them that territory don't mean shit when your product is trash. Yes, that is true, but what about all that shit you was talking to D about? We do worse and we get paid more. Did that become irrelevant now because the towers are gone? While all this is going on, there's one person in this scene that's observing everything. Poot, the Fleece Johnson of The Wire.
I like booty.
Poot is noticing that Stringer's lieutenants are shaking their head and is like, what is this nigga talking about? Which gives Poot the courage to ask the boldest question ever.
Do the chair know we gonna look like some punk ass bitches out there?
This man Stringer starts crashing out in a way we haven't seen before. Last time this man was that mad was when he had to burn that money back in season 1. But Poot was right though, because not everybody looks at the game beyond it being just the game. That's why with every drug story, there's an anomaly. Someone who shakes things up and tries to go beyond that, but their stories always end up bad because of a single mistake. With the meeting adjourned, the Barksdale organization starts making moves. Everyone is watching them to see how much flex they have and if they are really weak. Everybody knows it's either get down or lay down. Now things start off fine. Crews were getting down with the quickness. That is until they came across one man, and that was Marlo Stanfield, aka Black. Marlo wanted the crown and he wasn't about to let anyone stop that from happening. This is your typical YN versus old head story, but with a twist. Stringer tries settling this like businessmen, but all Marlo cared about was the street life. Marlo was making String look so bad that he and Marlo finally interacted with each other. This was supposed to be a revolutionary scene, but all it was a reality check. Stringer tried smooth talking Marlo like he did with Omar, and this man knew right off rip that this nigga Stringer stinks. Immediately after that meeting, he told Chris and his people to tool up and get ready for war. Fast forward and Avon is back home. This should be scary times for Marlo. You got the king and the queen back in the mix. This is like Shaq and Kobe. Even without their #1 hitters, the aspect of them being side by side again should put fear into anyone in the game. But when Avon came home, he saw how bad Stringer was running things and was heated.
Young boy ran us off the corner? I'm losing my motherfucking mind, man.
Found out Marlo was punking Stringer like a Disney Channel bully and said it's time to show niggas why I'm the king. While Marlo and Avon were going blow for blow, this man Stringer is playing away games and having meetings with Clay Davis and the other big time real estate developers.
The Clay Davis?
This man Clay Davis was the next person to finesse Stringer Bell. Clay Davis is the Thanos of The Wire. This man can finesse anyone and anything. Clay Davis is so powerful that he could finesse Jesus, God, and the devil all at the same time. With Avon and Marlo dropping bodies, this is messing up the coup.
Coup? What's the coup?
And ultimately messing up the money, which is something Stringer cares about more than anything. With all of this going on, now he has to deal with another problem, and that is Omar and Brother Muzone. Throughout the season, Omar has been robbing Stringer spots and calling his name out in the street. Very similar to how he was with Marlo, but the difference is that he has backup. Brother Muzone and Omar linking up is like the Brothers of Destruction, so it was only a matter of time before Stringer gets a chokeslam to hell. With all this going on, Clay Davis is finessing this man in ways I've never seen before, stringing him along with fake permits and deeds, Meanwhile, Stringer is like, nigga, I can't wait no 3 years. I'm ready to be legit now because Avon about to mess everything up. You know what? Stringer and Clay is low-key kind of reminding me of Ghost and Tate. Only difference is Ghost actually finessed Tate in the end.
You know why I took your dream? See, some people know how to win. They always win. See, that's me. Then some people can never win. That's you. No matter what you put your mind to, well, it never works out. I mean, it falls apart in your little ass hands.
Stringer heard about chunky coats and pulled up to Clay's office saying that he was ready to risk it all. And this man Clay had the biggest smile on his face because he went straight X Games mode on Stringer. Brought this man to the federal building to meet the goose, and now the faucet is getting ready to run. After Avon got shot, Stringer met up with him and got hit with some gut-punching words.
You know what the difference is between me and you? I bleed red. You bleed green. You know what? I look at you these days, you know what I see? I see a man without a country. Not hard enough for this right here. And maybe, just maybe, not smart enough for them out there.
Avon told that man that all he cares about is money and he's not good enough for the business life. Stringer heard that and got to thinking, oh yeah, I'm definitely about to cook this nigga with this one. And tells Avon that he had D'Angelo hit and was clapping Donette's cheeks. This right here was the last straw in the organization because after this scene, everything went downhill afterwards. The final moment of Stringer's fraudulence was when it was revealed that Clay Davis rain made him. This man Stringer was listening to G Herbo and went legit and wanted to live that lifestyle. I mean, he kind of was because every day was some new shit. He was beefing with his bitch right now, and yeah, life's still lit. Clay Davis took almost $500,000 from this man with a smile on his face the whole time. And instead of taking the L like a true businessman and go on a revenge tour, this man decided to want to try and put a hit out on Clay Davis. That man was so mad about losing that money that he was willing to shoot him. This is a whole new level of rage quitting. Thankfully, Avon shut that down real fast. Like, first of all, this is a government official we're talking about. Taking that man out would turn Baltimore into a war zone. Second of all, how you ask a street nigga like Slim to take out a high target like that? This man tries sending Slim on a level 100 mission with no backup and no badges. Low-key, I think the real reason he personally told Slim to do it is because he was jealous of how Slim casually took his spot while he was out being a businessman. The crazy part about it is that Avon seen all of that coming. The minute Avon got out of jail and was sitting in the club with Clay, Levy, and the Blob, this man smelled the con immediately and went on about his business. Which is crazy when you think about it because how a street dude with no business expertise seen the long game coming in comparison to someone who is supposedly smarter than everyone in the business. After everything Stringer has done, he has truly become a man without a country. He lost his best friend, he lost the vision he had for the game, he lost his real estate dreams, he really had nothing left. So the only thing left for him to do was snitch on Avon and start from scratch. But Omar and Brother Muzone had different plans for him. Stringer was finally going to answer for his scheming ways, and there was nothing he could do about it. This man got lit up in the very thing he was building for both him and Avon. What I found funny about Stringer's death was how Snoop accurately described it. Like, how the hell did she know it word for word despite not being there?
Son, this nigga Stringer Bell, man, was bagging Chris, yo, for real. Like, you know what I mean? Thinking in his pocket, talking about how much cheese he gonna give us, you know what I mean? We just let him walk. My man, Chris hollow, man, bitch, you gonna die. This nigga just dropped to his fucking knees like a little cocksucker, man. Started crying. That shit was worse than fucking pathetic.
With Stringer dead, he somehow ends up with a W because the cops raided Avon's warehouse and everyone got arrested, thus ending the Barksdale organization. For the time being. With Stringer gone, it's time to dissect this man just a tad bit more. Stringer Bell wanted to be legit so bad that he was willing to do anything for it. Went behind his best friend's back multiple times, manipulated multiple people which ultimately got him killed, doing anything for the mighty dollar. This man was so obsessed with money and going legit that if he was given the opportunity to have Marlo's ending in season 5, when he was surrounded by all those politicians and developers, he would have turned into light Yagami and lit everyone up in a second. But in the end, he got manipulated by two of the greatest manipulators in The Wire, Prop Joe and Clay Davis. Prop Joe manipulated this man into betraying his best friend over the New Day co-op, which Avon will return the favor with Marlo in season 5. Then Clay Davis was so grimy that he was going to finesse Stringer for 3 years straight, just taking as much money as he could before cutting him loose. Who knows if he would have actually got those real estates fully developed after 3 years.
I guess we'll never know.
Stringer gave the green light to shoot Omar on a Sunday morning, which is a huge violation of the Sunday morning truce.
You can do some shit and be like, what the fuck? But hey, just never on no Sunday, man.
And also had Shamrock as one of his personal lieutenants. Now, Shamrock was the worst lieutenant that Stringer could have had. This man was one of the key reasons for the Barksdale organization falling. This man was taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy. Mae Bernard's girlfriend convinced him to start buying phones in bundles instead of getting them from multiple locations. This nigga Stringer had Shamrock reading 48 Laws of Power, and once he got arrested, he started snitching immediately. Like, that's some real master and student type shit right there. If we're being honest, Stringer easily could have been up there with the legends. He could have been mentioned in the same breath as Avon, Marlo, Ghost, Franklin Saint, Nino Brown, Gustavo Fring, all of them. But the difference is, all those guys stayed true to who they were. Avon was a general, Marlo was a tyrant, Ghost was a club owner who loved cheating on his wife more than breeding, Franklin was a genius with a Glock. They had identity. Stringer, this man was a walking identity crisis with a 5-subject notebook. 1 minute he's demanding respect in the streets like he's Black Air Force energy incarnated. The next minute he's sitting in microeconomics talking about supply elasticity and invisible hands. Bro wanted to be Adam Smith and Suge Knight at the same time. Like, you can't do that, man. Pick a struggle. Stringer Bell is what happens when you try to speed run life. He wanted the business world, the street world, the co-op, real estate market, Donnet, legitimacy, respect, and a damn high rise with floor to ceiling windows. And in chasing all of that at the same time, he ended up with none of it. Every move he made to look smarter actually exposed how little he understood the worlds he was stepping into. He wasn't built for the streets like Avon. He wasn't built for the boardroom like Clay. He wasn't built for the long game like Prop Joe. And he wasn't even built for the smoke like Omar and Brother Muzone. And that's why he fell. Stringer Bell is the greatest fraud in The Wire, not because he was dumb, far from that, but because he believed he was too smart to fail. He believed he could outthink the rules of the game, and the game don't care about your GPA. The game don't care about your business classes. The game don't care about how clean your quarter zip is. It cares about results. And every result Stringer delivered pulled him one step closer to a grave in the very building he thought was going to make him legit. In the end, his biggest enemy wasn't Omar, it wasn't Muzone, it wasn't Marlo, it was his ambition without discipline. It was a dream without the foundation. It was the fraudulence The Wire hit so well on his first watch, but hits like a brick wall on that rewatch. So yeah, y'all were right. This man was him. Until it was time to actually be him. Then he turned into, he should have stayed in class. And that's why Stringer Bell is respectfully The Wire's greatest fraud. Let me know in the comments how y'all feel about Russell Stringer Bell, and do you think that he's a fraud? But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and comment, and don't be asking for any more Wire videos because the price of the brick gonna go up afterwards. And also, if I don't drop another video before 2026, then Happy New Year. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.